The halls of Newark Liberty and McCarran International, perhaps a little robust with poker players whose bags are packed and their passports are in hand. As we shift from the U.S. portion of the program to the international one exclusively. Welcome once again inside the PokerGO studio at Aria Resort and Casino. Ali Nejad joined by Maria Ho for another edition of the WSOP Preview Recap Show. And Maria, I know you hate this part. I know it's uncomfortable. I'm sure people at home don't want to hear it anymore either, but I have to ask for a Hobuck status report.
Well, I'm nothing if not consistent, Ollie, with that. So, of course, another losing week for me, but hopefully that'll all change once I make my way down to Mexico.
I feel as though your bankroll graph throughout the series and my TD Ameritrade account graph are similarly replete with red ink. It's just kind of one of those little step down. Oh, look, there's joy. No, not really. Well, there's some people who had plenty of black ink going around, and the last of the jewelry handed out to U.S. players looked like this. Event number 27 was your WSOP leaderboard champ, Ian Steinman, taking down 18,000 of the 100K that was issued and a $110 for the win. And then you had Nahrain Tamero, a lady, Event 31 champ in a big haul.
Yeah, and that championship event drew the largest prize pool of the entire 31 event series, over $2 million. So
you're
nice
saying
score.
she picked a good one.
It's a nice
right?
score.
All right, there was, of course, action happening overseas as well during the overlap. And there are some of the deep runs. I'm a little bit surprised, Maria, that we didn't see more big names making marks during the series.
Yeah, somebody like Chewy, who came third in event number 31. A lot of players knew him back then. He's playing a little less poker now. So I'm sure that there's a lot of that big name pro that might not be playing so much of this series, but they might be willing to travel internationally for the back half.
Yeah, Andrew Lichtenberger, a name we don't see too often these days. You know, as dog eat dog and every man and woman for themselves as poker tends to be, the reality is there is a tremendous amount of philanthropy that comes out of this community, and that was put on full display as GG Poker and the World Series teamed up to support COVID relief. $177,000 check. If you think that's a big one, take a look at the next one. $354,000. That coming courtesy of a WSOP Circuit online event held on GG in May, and then subsequently the Caesars Cares event, which was a 1K with $111 in rake. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I think sometimes people forget just how generous this community can be, and poker is obviously such a great way to fundraise.
Yeah, and from generosity to all-out selfishness, here are the handful of players that grabbed the last bracelets available to the U.S.-based people this summer. Ian Steinman, $110,000 for a Poker Joker, too.
Yeah, and he actually was the 2016 WSOP.com Online Player of the Year, along with taking down 4 WSOP circuit rings. So just add this one to that list.
And let's not forget the $18,000 for taking down the leaderboard win, as you see the remainder of the players that joined him at that final table. I feel like Satoshi Tanaka is a name I've seen before. Some talent coming out of Japan. Now onward to event number 28, where William Head of Romaine picked up a $110 of his own. You say the screen name, Maria.
No, you know that's not my department.
Come on, just try it one time.
Slow Wheel Ryan.
All right, I regret asking you to try it. And that young man was head up. Or it was ace-3-5.
Yeah, and this was some redemption for him as he finished runner-up to Michael Leck in event number 13. Couple of deep runs by some people we know. A 13th place finish by the one and only Norman Chad.
Nobody says nice things about Norman. You know the rules. Also, that man has himself a circuit ring. A little bit more of that sort of breeding ground for eventual World Series champs. Moving on to event number 29. That was taken down by Nick Guagenti. Ian Steinman and Nick are going to be joining us a little bit later on the show. He picked up a whopping 305 in event 29.
Yeah, amazing run. Really, really tough final table, this one, with Ari Engel in third, Ryan Tosic in fifth. But, you know, Guagenti, he's had 52 WSOP cashes. His best finish was a third place finish. So great win for him.
He was happy his man didn't have a spade in that last pot there. The run out wasn't exactly favorable. And a look at the remainder of the players that joined him there. Ryan Tosic in fifth. And this was a moment where Shadow Jacker almost got his foot caught in a bear trap, Maria.
Yeah, you see the raise to 420K with the ace-king offsuit and shadow jacker with the king-10 of hearts. Normally, it's a good-looking hand, but you know, there's some ICM considerations here. He decides to go for it, goes all in, and of course, you know, ace-king is not going to fold there. I don't mind this rejam by Nick. I do feel like there are some ICM considerations that could get him in trouble here, but you know, BD could have been raising a pretty wide range just because he was second in chips at the point in time, but not when that 10 comes on the river.
Binky. Jack would have worked as well, obviously. Food for thought. I don't think Phil Ivey and Magic Johnson were actually at that table with them. And obviously, a little bit of context. We don't know if BD out was a little out of line when the rejam came in. Jonathan taught everyone a lesson. Sugar J, $64,000 richer. A modest haul in event number 30.
Yeah, this was for the win in the seniors event. And Jonathan has had 7 WSOP live cashes. Not sure how familiar he is to the online landscape, but of course, this is still a great tournament to take down.
Deuce 4-5 with a couple of diamonds. And when you got 4-5, you don't need to worry about the 3 after the turn. Boatsville and the others that joined him at that final table as you feast your eyes. But really, for me, it was all about event number 31. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm chomping at the bit. Here's Sugar J, heads up. 5-6 against Queen 9, and this wasn't a crazy hand, but it just kind of put on display a couple of noteworthy items.
Yeah, Sugar J had raised before the flop, and the Queen 9 came along, and this is the type of flop where you would expect the pre-flop aggressor to continuation bet, but Sugar J does elect to check back the 9-3-3 flop, and now with top 2 pair, I guess, or 9s and 3s, we get the lead on the turn, 318,000. And Sugar J actually turns an open-ended straight draw here, so he decides to call, try to realize that equity with his draw. And the river comes, the 4 of diamonds, bring the diamond flush, but you know, for Sugar J, he knows he can't win at showdown with 6 high, so when it's checked to him, he does decide to bet, but this is a pretty easy call for Musker.
All right, I love this story. Nahrain, it only takes 1 or 2 rivers to Mero, $310,000, the biggest haul of all of the 31 U.S. events, had just $68.88 in career tournament earnings prior to this.
Yeah, and at the time, you know, you see me doing live commentary there with Tuck. We didn't know who 2 Rivers was, and so I didn't realize it was a female that took this down. Super happy about that. This was the championship event, the wrap-up to the WSOP.com series here in America.
Originally from El Cajon, California, studied at Cuyamaca College. I feel like she should wear the bracelet, walk into the class of the teacher she liked least, and just wave at him with that nice little jingle that jewelry would make. And there were the final results from that event. Lucky Chewy on the podium in 3rd. 31 total dishes on the picnic spread at the summer cookout, and there were obviously some that were worth a little more than the others. I'm looking at you, Nahrain. Pretty cool summer, though. I mean, given that these were unprecedented times, live poker really wasn't an opportunity to get so many people together logistically. There's a lack of flights and whatever. I'd say the boys pulled it off.
Yeah, and I actually liked the fact that they just had 1 event per day, 1 bracelet event, and for me it was kind of more of a relaxing type of grind, even though I ended up losing a lot of money. It just felt like a good pace.
Nothing feels better, though, than being the man who's at the top of that 100K World Series of Poker leaderboard, and that man, when the dust settled, was Ian Steinman. He took down event number 27, and 3,186 points was good for a Poker Joker 2 in more ways than one. And joining us right now from Carson City, Nevada is none other than Ian Steinman. And Ian, I'm looking back, you've been at this a minute, over $880,000 in career tournament earnings on the live scene, 4 World Series of Poker circuit rings. But what jumps out at me is a decade ago, you finished 2nd to Eric Baldwin at the series. How sweet it is to now come back and finally get the jewelry.
Yeah, that was great. Well, that was only a couple years ago. The the heads-up match. It was 2017, I think. But I wasn't quite old enough
17,
to play it.
2010, same difference, okay, Ian? The point being how sweet it is. I mean, was it one of those deals where you were heartbroken when you missed out on the bracelet?
I was a little upset, not right after the event, but in the days following it, because I did have a pretty big chip lead versus him and had him all in, and so I was close. I had the feeling of almost winning, but I didn't get it. So yeah, I was definitely a little bit upset by it, but that's just something that happened. So it did feel really, really good to get this one.
Now, Ian, you were saying that you didn't want to make winning a bracelet a goal of yours because you can't really control the outcome sometimes because of the luck factor. So can you tell me how that's factored into your motivation, though? Because even if that's not something that you're going to put at the forefront, that's something that's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I don't mean it like I didn't want the bracelet. I've always wanted it, but it's just a funny thing to have as a goal. You know, goals should be things that you can achieve, like with your skill sets. So I figured if I just worked hard, bracelet would probably come eventually. You know, if I keep playing all the events, keep working hard. But I didn't want it to be something like a chip on my shoulder, something like that. Like it used to be like that, and then I got heads up, lost, and couldn't really control much. And I was like, this is a kind of a dumb thing to have as a goal. You know, it's not something that's completely in my control.
Ian, I don't want to be presumptuous, but looking at the background, it seems like you haven't taken a lot of the winnings and spent them on stuff at Home Goods or IKEA or anything like that. What are you planning on doing with the money, or what do you do in general with all of these spoils from the effort?
Yeah, I'm in my guest room. So yeah, there's nothing around here, but I don't really have any plans. Just, I don't know, I'd probably buy a few little things for myself, but just keep playing, add it to the bankroll, keep grinding.
Yeah, well, you said that you're going to add it to the bankroll and keep on grinding. So how do you think this month, maybe not necessarily just on the financial end of things, but how do you think this month has kind of changed your career as a poker player?
It's a good question. Well, it's definitely an achievement. I mean, it's not quite the player of the year, you know, like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get the banner in the Rio, but it definitely feels really special to win that leaderboard, because, I mean, I guess it means I did the best of the WSOP Nevada people. I didn't win the most money, but it's definitely a good feeling, a good achievement, and a good thing to have, you know, on my resume.
It's the kind of thing, Ian, that a lot of poker players dream on having on their resume. And as you've kind of navigated that path and looking back, if you had to leave people with a couple of the biggest lessons you've learned along the way that have helped you get to where you are right now, what would those be?
Well, I guess just, you know, embrace the moment. I was running really good this month, and I'm fine with that. You know, I don't have to tell you guys I played the best, or, you know, I'm really good. I know I was running good, and I just kind of rode that wave, and that, you know, that transfers over to playing well, because when you're running good, you're confident and you play well.
Well, play well you did, Ian, and as humble as you are, let us be the ones to give you your due. Well done this summer. Are you heading out for GG?
I don't think so. I think I'm just going to hang out. I've slept for like the past 2 days. You know, I played 10 hours plus every day all month, so yeah. Probably go golfing this week with some friends and hang out, relax. I don't think I'm going to do the GG thing.
Well deserved, my friend. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it. You take care. Ian Steinman, first time talking with him, but he's been out there lurking, etching his number. And you know what? A lot of people, Maria, have carved their teeth in the circuit events and then kind of shown up. Yes. When the summertime happens. It feels like the fields are really good for somebody starting out there, right?
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of the bracelet winners have had a lot of great accolades in the circuit events, and I feel like that might have been a good preparation for them to play this online bracelet series.
And as we mentioned, Ian Steinman had 4 World Series of Poker circuit rings to his name, 880,000 plus in career live tournament earnings, and Started when he was 16, so driver's license and then, you know, your first online poker account. So there will be no more US-based bracelets awarded. That part of the program totally completed, but the good news, Maria, is that there is plenty of opportunities to join the following people in an effort to take down a GG Poker bracelet. And there are 7 of your most recent winners. Event 42 and 44 pop off the page.
Yeah, Yuri Zagaleski, really accomplished online player, over $7 million in online earnings. And of course, Kristen Bicknell for her 3rd career WSOP bracelet.
But look at the number for event number 41, the $400 Colossus, taken down by Rano Sutla, $595,000 richer. That's a reason to smile. And also beaming, of course, Yuri, who picked up $221,000. And looks like he cut his hair. When he had his hair long, you and I were playing a little drinking game.
I know, and that cost me a lot of shots. I mean, to be fair, I enjoyed them, but, you know.
Oh, your liver can fix itself. Lev Gottlieb in event number 43, splashing around in the 10K short deck for the Stars and Stripes, $276K richer. You gonna play any short deck?
No, I would say that I don't want to lose additional money in games that I'm not really good at.
Look who he took down.
Yeah, I mean, Mikita Badziakuski is his heads-up opponent here, and Badziakuski obviously has a lot of experience playing short deck, so this might have been a tough loss for him.
Yeah, top 2 pair not quite as strong in short deck as it would be in regular Hold'em, and the Ace-10 giving Lev Gottlieb the win. And also at that final table, Dan Shack.
Yeah, Dan is also one of those players that has played quite a bit more short deck than most, so not surprised to see him up here.
And then it was go, Leafs, go. All smiles for Kristen Bicknell. Really just a force, not just as a female participant, but just all around. Kristen, one to be feared.
Yeah, and this was, you know, a great event to win. $2,500 buy-in, one of the higher buy-ins of the week, and 6 max, which is also a fun format.
$356,000 richer after the 3rd 5-hitter on the turn. She reined her man in, and Bellarmino hung himself with that King-9. Kicker didn't even play on the end, and oopsie. Long night in Rio for that man as you get a look at the remainder of that final table. And we move on to event number 45. Playing for the Union Jack, Patrick Kennedy took down the $840 bounty for $245,000, or like 100,000 British pounds. I don't know. What's the conversion rate now?
Yeah, not a lot that we know about Kennedy, but here in his final hand against Joshua Pollack, kind of a cooler situation, jacks versus 10s.
Call it what it is, kind of a cooler. 2 10s into 2 jacks at the final table. That hand's brought to you by Yeti. When you want your deck cold, think Yeti. We should have gotten paid by them. I actually did that on a pro bono basis. Okay, and there was the remainder of that final table. And look, I'm just saying, in 5th and 7th, it's possible.
I mean,
possible.
No relation, but, you know, I got something to strive for.
And then events 46, 47, 49, you have that 3-pack. And if you're thinking as you look at those faces, you know what? I should be up there. Well, here's Maria to help you pack your bags.
So I've been saying for weeks now that I'll be heading down to Mexico for the international leg of my online grind. And since I have a lot of Maria money to recoup, I've decided to compile a list of my top 5 things for a successful online grind overseas. Now, first off, you want to bring something familiar. For some of you guys, it might be your favorite stuffed animal, but for me, it's an essential oil diffuser. Now, sometimes it could boost your mood. For me, it has a great calming effect, so I love having that right next to me when I'm playing. Secondly, gotta bring my yoga mat because it's perfect for that 5-minute sync break. If I'm feeling a little sluggish, a little lethargic, I definitely want to get on my mat, do some breathing exercises, some stretches, and then get right back to it. Now, the next thing that I'm going to be bringing is an inflatable raft. Because, you know, what about towards the end of your session when maybe you're just one-tabling? Don't you want to have a portable grind station, a floating one perhaps? I mean, sounds pretty nice to me. The 4th thing is guac and chips, obviously, on standby at any given moment. Because who doesn't love guac and when in Mexico? And last but certainly not least is top shelf tequila. For me, my go-to is Don Julio 1942, but to each their own. And hopefully it'll be for that impromptu celebratory moment or to drown my sorrows. TBD.
Okay, I took some notes during that. Familiar has got to be an ex or a friend with benefits. Start staying at a hotel where you got people giving you mats and wraps. Guac, got to bring stretchy pants. Anyhow, ggpoker.com is where you can get your fix between now and September 6th. Log on. All right, one of the smiling faces that were out there somewhere in front of a computer monitor, no, not Maria's, belonged to a man by the name of Nick Guagenti, who's been at it for a minute. 1.3 million in career tournament earnings, and he joins us now from Columbus, Ohio. Nick, you come a long way since that 2040 Queen City Classic back in Cincinnati, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of losing in tournaments.
But this score, I mean, 153,000 back then in 2014, this score was a big one, and there have been some hiccups along the way. I know you were discussing with us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, since then, I really haven't focused a ton on tournaments. I play a lot of cash. I play a lot of mixed game cash. So
that's what I'm talking about.
That's the bulk of my income, you would say. But yeah, this was huge. I never thought I was going to win a bracelet and no limit hold'em, even though I went out there and played, almost strictly no limit hold'em bracelet events. So yeah, it's pretty incredible to have happen.
Well, you've actually had live results dating back to 2006. So tell us a little bit about how you got your start in poker.
I mean, like most, I was 18, 19 when Moneymaker happened. So it's a big influence on me. I started watching, reading, found a charity game, I guess you could call it, in Columbus. Played there for, 4 or 5 years. It was all 10, 20 limit hold'em. A lot of guys out of there have actually made it, in the poker world, which is kind of funny. Adam Friedman and Joey Cowden, we all grew up playing that little 10, 20 game. We've all kind of taken a very similar path, in that we all play, mostly mixed games now. Yeah, I wouldn't say that that game was on the up and up, which actually taught me a lot in the long run. I was able to keep my eyes open on all games at all times, and it allowed me to develop, I guess, grabbing all the information in a game, because I wouldn't just watch the players. I would have to watch the dealer. I'd have to watch, people behind me, everything. It was I always called it the wild, wild west of poker games.
Yeah, I've definitely been in a few of those myself. As soon as I heard you say the words mixed games, though, and I think I speak for both Maria and I, who love playing mixed cash, my ears perked up. Talk to me a little bit about what drew you into mixed games and why you chose to play tournaments during the summertime, playing no limit hold'em, which, as you mentioned, isn't necessarily your best game. You didn't think you'd win a bracelet, as opposed to just keeping on the cash grind.
Okay, so most summers, so I've been doing the World Series for 15 years plus, I guess. Most summers I spent, playing 75, 150, 08 at the Rio. And probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm watching Adam play, who's very, very good at mixed games. And I asked him to help teach me some of the draw games. And I sat behind him and I learned them. I mean, the reason I wanted to learn them, because the more games you know how to play, and the more games that you're good at, the more opportunities you have of making money, obviously, because the best game in the room nowadays isn't the no limit hold'em game. A lot of people don't understand that. If you can get into these mixed games and you can learn them, they're great games for, making money. And that's essentially why I'm in poker, is to make money. I'm not, not really in it for like the glory for the most part, but
But admit it, mixed games are more fun.
Oh, it's not even a question. It's not even a question. I try to spread the word with mixed games throughout my poker community. We've actually built little horse games and draw games and OE games that go on here in town. Limit, I think, is the best form of cash games. A lot of people they complain, you get run down, but for everyone involved, limit games, I think, are best for cash because the worst players won't get torched in limit games, so the game will survive for longer, I think,
That's a
and
good
people
point.
will be able to replenish.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I've gotten bluffed for a single bet on the river and limit hold'em before.
I said I'm sorry.
I know how that goes. I mean, you keep mentioning.
Well, congratulations, Alex. That's a
Way to get away with
right
one.
there.
Well, you keep mentioning this community of players. You have really successful friends that have won bracelets at the WSOP. So do you feel like that was a little bit of an extra motivating factor for you as well to finally get the monkey off your back?
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that. I got a small group of card players that we all been together for over a decade, and every one of them have a bracelet, and it's good to get mine, even though a couple of them say it doesn't count because it was online, but I'm counting it. Don't matter what they say.
Listen, this is going to be the most important question I ask you during this interview. You don't bring up Columbus, Ohio, without there being a conversation about the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I understand most of the friends and family are Buckeye fans. You're a Michigan fan. If I told you you could turn in your bracelet in exchange for like a 3-year run of Wolverine wins over the Buckeyes, would you do it?
Nah, not even close. Listen, as a card player, I'm used to losing. Losing doesn't bother me. Losing doesn't bother me at all. You're going to lose a lot in cards. You got to get used to it. So yeah, this run with Michigan, Ohio State is rough, but it took too long to get this bracelet.
Well, listen, you paid your dues, obviously, and hopefully there's not too many L's on the horizon. Enjoy this W, and thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it, Nick. What an awesome thing to say. I thought for sure he was going to be like, oh, yeah, I turn it in, man. I need the Wolverines to win one. Yeah, you don't understand. That's a blood feud, that college football rivalry.
Yeah, but then what is he going to say to all of his friends that have bracelets, though?
I guess you got a point. He'll be like, I turned mine in for some football wins. He'll be like, you dork. All right, let us get a look back now that we've drawn the curtain on the World Series and just some of the highlights, some of the stats here. Look at that, $26.8 million in total prize pools with that over $2 million, the biggest of them. 2,500 runners plus, 44,000 runners in total. Average first place, 151,000. You know you're a part of those stats, Maria.
Yeah, I didn't come close to sniffing the money, but I sure contributed to it.
And from stats of the summer to some tweets, it's time now to look at some of the finest that social media and poker had to offer us. The first comes from Ian Steinman's brother, Justin, who captured the moment. This is actually a video, but there's the screen grab, a dark and lonely victory.
He might look a little subdued there, but trust me, when the cards ran out, Ian was extremely celebratory.
Film noir sans caption. And then Nick Guagenti, careful what you wish for, loans.
Yeah, I hope that you already cashed that check, Nick, because there will be a line out the door at your local bank.
I'm taking the over on 51 replies at this point. And then moving forward to a heartwarming one of the original pioneer women in poker, Jennifer Harmon, giving nothing but love to Kristen Bicknell. And Kristen showing some humble love back.
Yeah, Jennifer Harmon is a player that we all looked up to getting into the game, so it's always nice to hear from her.
And how nice of Phil Hellmuth to invite all his friends on his private... Oh, no, wait a minute. That's not a Gulfstream, and that look on his face probably has more to do with the fact that he's been without his wife for about a month and is now heading to Cabo along with you to play some GG events. He's not a happy camper.
No, and I mean, I'm not taking a PJ to Cabo, but Phil, if you are, hit me up.
Holler at your girl. All right, even saltier than the peanuts in 8C that Phil is likely enjoying in that shot is our very own Norman Chad, and he brings us the final tally from the summer.
Many of my fellow broadcasters with limited success in the U.S. portion of the World Series of Poker are either headed out of town or simply done. Jamie Kerstetter has fled to Toronto. In July, she had 6 min cashes and a 37th place finish. Considering she fired or re-fired a WSOP event every 15 minutes of every day, she wound up a loser. Jeff Platt, he had 4 cashes, including a final table, but he fired at 24 events. Loser. He'll spend the rest of his World Series announcing GGP poker action while drinking cheap wine out of a brown paper bag. Nick Schulman, the crown prince himself, 2 min cashes. Loser. The rest of the summer, he'll be playing chess, pool, and rummy cube. Maria Ho fired away at every World Series event in July with 3 min cashes. Loser. Loser! If she played solitaire online, the deck would be a 10-1 favorite. Maria's headed to Mexico next week to try her luck there. I hope she knows the Spanish word for re-entry. Oh, and me? 2 World Series events, 2 cashes with a 13th place finish. Winner, 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 chicken dinner, while Jamie, Jeff, Nick, and Maria are eating hot dogs on a stick. The only one doing almost as well as me is Ali Nejad, Mr. Too Cool for School, who doesn't even play the World Series, so he's even. How's this all possible? They're better broadcasters than me. They're better poker players than me. Hey, well, then how come I'm in the black broadcasting right now?
Oh, the best part has to be the smug cackle. That's so distinctly Chad.
I know, but like he wasn't wrong, so I don't have anything to say. No rebuttal today.
You could say that I had a better summer than you.
I mean, that definitely is very true. But I mean, hello, WSOP cashes 0, Mr. Nejad.
There's an asterisk. Read the asterisk. You can't cash if you don't play.
Yeah, but you know, I though, on the other hand, 61 cashes. That looks pretty good, actually.
But that's not just from this summer. That's like all time. I played like 1 or 2 events ever. I'm too busy over here propping up these shows. I'm just saying. All right, so the summer will continue for you and obviously for those who are willing to get outside the U.S. borders. And coming up, we have the following events on the GG slate. Get a look. All the way up to 8K HK and a 10K U.S. heads-up event. They are richer on the GG side of the calendar.
Yeah, and I won't be in Mexico quite yet for that 1 million guaranteed GG Masters WSOP edition, but you'll be seeing me in the streets soon.
All right, well, hopefully it's not going to be with all of your belongings because you've busted the bankroll, just the proverbial streets. Best of luck to you south of the border and to all of you as you venture out and carry on. In the meantime, on behalf of Maria, it's Ali Nejad saying so long, and we'll see you next week.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's official World Series of Poker gold bracelet ceremony. Sitting here in front of the most coveted prize in poker, the World Series of Poker bracelet. How does it feel to be a World Series of Poker gold bracelet winner?
I don't know what to say because I'm still kind of in shock because I'm like, did I really just do that?
Thank you so much. Absolutely surreal experience.
I've hoped to hear you say that to me for a long time.
You played well, you beat a big field, you picked up a big payday. So once again, congratulations. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today, and we'll see you again soon.